Have you noticed something strange? The more you explain your pain, the less people seem to care. You send long messages. You try to make them understand. You replay the moment they hurt you, hoping for clarity, closure, or guilt. But here's the paradox. Most people never learn. The moment you stop reacting is the moment your power returns. Stoicism teaches a quiet truth. Real strength is not loud, emotional, or dramatic. It's controlled, disciplined, silent. And when you move that way, something unexpected happens. People don't just move on. They reflect, they feel the absence, and slowly, they regret how they treated you. Not because you punished them, but because you became unreachable. Today, you'll learn 7 silent behaviors grounded in emotional intelligence and Stoic psychology that don't seek revenge, don't beg for validation, and don't waste energy. They simply elevate you. Stay until the last one. It's the hardest to master and the most powerful. 1. You stop explaining yourself. Most people don't lose power when they get hurt. They lose it after, when they start explaining. They explain why they reacted that way. They explain their intentions. They explain their pain, hoping the other person will finally say, "Oh, I get it now." But here's the uncomfortable truth. The moment you start over-explaining, you hand your power to someone who already chose not to respect it. Think about it. If someone truly cared, they wouldn't need a 10-paragraph message to understand you. They would have paid attention the first time. Stoic philosophy cuts through this illusion with brutal clarity. You don't owe clarity to someone who chose to misunderstand you. When you explain yourself to the wrong person, 3 things happen. First, you lower your position. Explanation places you beneath them, subconsciously asking for approval. Second, you reward bad behavior. They hurt you, and you respond by investing more energy. Third, you train them to expect access to your inner world, even after they've proven they don't deserve it. This is why silence hits harder than words ever could. Not dramatic silence, not passive-aggressive silence, but disciplined silence. The kind that says, "I'm clear about who I am. I don't need to convince you." Imagine this scenario. Someone disrespects you. They cross a line. They say something they can't take back. The old version of you wants to explain, "That's not what I meant. You misunderstood me." Let me tell you how that made me feel. The Stoic version pauses. They ask one question internally. Is this person genuinely confused or simply unwilling to care? If it's confusion, clarity can help. If it's unwillingness, explanation is wasted breath. And here's the part most people don't expect. When you stop explaining, people don't feel relieved. They feel uneasy, because now they're left alone with their own behavior. No reassurance, no emotional labor from you, no chance to twist your words or shift blame. Just silence, and silence forces reflection. They replay the moment. They wonder what you're thinking. They question whether they crossed a line they can't uncross. Not because you attacked them, but because you withdrew access. This is where emotional intelligence meets Stoic restraint. You're not suppressing yourself. You're protecting your energy. You're saying, without words, "My worth doesn't depend on being understood by everyone." Here's a simple practice you can apply today. For the next 24 hours, do not explain a single personal decision to anyone who questions it. No defending, no justifying, no emotional essays. If someone asks why, you respond calmly and briefly, or not at all. Watch what happens. The right people will respect your boundary. The wrong people will feel uncomfortable, and that discomfort, that's the beginning of regret, because nothing unsettles a person more than realizing they no longer have access to your inner world. Remember this. Silence is not weakness. It's what happens when self-respect speaks. And once you learn to stop explaining yourself, you'll notice something powerful. People don't just hear you more, they feel you more. 2. You remove access without drama. Most people think cutting someone off has to be loud, a final message, a long explanation, a dramatic exit designed to be remembered. But here's the Stoic truth. Real boundaries don't announce themselves. They simply exist. When someone hurts you, disrespects you, or repeatedly crosses lines, the instinct is to declare your exit, to make sure they understand what they did wrong. But that urge isn't strength. It's a need to be seen, validated, or justified. And the moment you explain your boundary, you invite negotiation. Stoicism teaches something colder and far more effective. You don't remove access to punish them. You remove access to protect yourself. No speeches, no ultimatums, no emotional theater, just a quiet shift. You respond less. You share less. You stop volunteering your time, attention, and emotional availability. From the outside, nothing dramatic happens. But internally, everything changes. Because access is power. And when access disappears without explanation, people feel it immediately. They don't feel angry first, they feel confused. Why did the energy change? Why are you no longer available? Why do they feel distance without a fight? That confusion forces them to review their own behavior. Not your words, not your tone, their actions. This is why silent boundaries are so effective. They don't give the other person anything to argue against. No, you're too sensitive. No, that's not what I meant. No chance to flip the script. Just absence. Imagine this. You stop initiating contact. You politely decline invitations without excuses. You answer messages briefly. Or not at all. Not cold, not rude. Just unavailable. And suddenly, the dynamic shifts. They feel the loss before they understand the reason. And here's the psychological paradox. When you explain your boundary, they focus on defending themselves. When you don't, they focus on what they lost. This is emotional intelligence at its highest level. You're not trying to teach them a lesson. You're letting reality teach it for you. Stoicism isn't about cutting people off impulsively. It's about detachment with dignity. You stay calm, you stay civil, but you no longer stay accessible. Think of it like closing a door quietly. No slam, no speech, just closed. Here's a simple protocol you can apply. Reduce, observe, detach. Reduce your availability first. Observe how they respond to less access. Then detach fully, without guilt, without drama. The right people will adjust their behavior. The wrong people will reveal their entitlement. And that's the point. Because when someone realizes they lost access to you without being given a chance to argue, regret begins to form. Not because you hurt them back, but because you showed them that your presence was never guaranteed. Remember this, you didn't leave loudly. You left cleanly, and nothing unsettles a person more than realizing the door closed. And they never heard it shut. 3. You stay calm when they expect a reaction. Some people don't hurt you by accident. They do it to provoke a reaction. They say something sharp. They push a boundary. They bring up old wounds. And then they wait. Not for understanding, not for resolution. They wait for emotion. Because the moment you react, anger, tears, long messages, raised voice, they gain control. Stoicism begins exactly where most people lose themselves, in the space between what happens and how you respond. This space is invisible, but it's where power lives. When someone expects you to explode and you don't, something breaks in their script. They don't get the satisfaction. They don't get confirmation that they still affect you. And that unsettles them. Calmness is not passivity. It's discipline. It's the ability to feel the surge of emotion and choose not to hand it over. Imagine this situation. They send a message meant to sting, maybe sarcastic, maybe dismissive. The old pattern is automatic. You reply immediately. You explain. You defend. The Stoic response is different. You pause. 3 slow breaths. No typing. No reacting. Then you ask one quiet question. Is this designed to resolve or to disturb? If it's meant to disturb, silence becomes your answer. Or you reply with calm neutrality. Short, grounded, unemotional. And here's the paradox. Most people never expect. Your calm makes them uneasy. Because now they're alone with the emotion they were trying to transfer to you. They feel exposed. They feel powerless. They feel foolish for trying. This is emotional intelligence in action. You're not suppressing anger. You're containing it. You're saying, without saying, you don't decide my state of mind. Over time, something shifts. They stop pushing, they stop testing, or they disappear. Not because you argued better, but because you became unrewarding. Here's a micro practice to train this. The next time you feel triggered, delay your response by 60 minutes. No exceptions. During that hour, do one thing physical. Walk, breathe, stretch. Let the emotion move through the body without turning into words. Then decide. Respond with dignity, or don't respond at all. Both are power. Remember this. Anyone can react. Few can remain calm under pressure. And when someone realizes they can no longer shake you, they don't feel victorious. They feel regret. Because the moment you stop reacting, you stop being controllable. 4. You improve your life. Quietly. Most people want their growth to be seen. They want proof. They want acknowledgement. They want the person who hurt them to notice. So they post more. They talk more. They signal success. But Stoicism teaches something far more effective. Real progress doesn't announce itself. It reveals itself. When you improve your life quietly, you remove comparison, performance, and ego from the process. You're no longer growing at someone. You're growing past them. This is where regret deepens, because nothing is more unsettling than seeing someone thrive without needing an audience. Think about it. If you constantly broadcast your progress, people can dismiss it. They're just trying to prove something. They're pretending. They want attention. But when your growth is silent, there's no narrative to attack. Only results, and results force comparison. Suddenly, they notice changes they can't explain. Your energy is different. Your boundaries are firmer. Your presence feels grounded. You didn't say anything. You didn't post anything. You just changed. Stoic philosophy has always warned against this trap. Seeking validation ties your peace to other people's reactions. Quiet improvement does the opposite. It builds self-trust. You go to the gym without telling anyone. You work on your craft without announcing goals. You become disciplined without asking to be seen. And slowly, something powerful happens. You stop caring whether they regret hurting you, which is exactly when they do, because now they feel irrelevant to your story. Here's the key psychological shift. When someone hurts you, they expect to remain central in your emotional world. Quiet growth removes them from the center without confrontation, and that absence is loud. They realize you didn't collapse, you didn't beg, you didn't freeze, you built. Here's a simple practice to apply this. Choose one area of your life: health, skill, finances, discipline. Commit to improving it for 30 days. No announcements, no updates, no signals. Let your consistency be private. At the end of those 30 days, you won't need to explain anything. Your posture will explain it for you. Your calm will explain it for you. Your absence from old patterns will explain it for you. Remember this, nothing is louder than silent growth. And when people see who you're becoming without being invited to watch, that's when regret stops being a thought and becomes a feeling they can't shake. 5. You treat them with polite distance. Most people think the opposite of love is hate. It's not. The opposite of love is distance without emotion. When someone hurts you, there are two common mistakes. You either become cold and hostile, or you remain overly warm, pretending nothing changed. Both keep you emotionally involved. Stoicism offers a third option: polite distance. You're not angry, you're not bitter, you're not seeking revenge. You're simply no longer available at the same level. This is where real power lives. Because polite distance sends a clear message without confrontation. I respect myself too much to stay close, but I respect myself enough not to be cruel. Think about how unsettling this is for the other person. They expect anger, they expect tension, they expect emotional signals they can read. But instead, they get calm courtesy. Short answers, neutral tone, no personal sharing, no emotional depth. You're pleasant, but unreachable. And that confuses people far more than hostility ever could. Why? Because hostility still proves attachment. Distance proves evolution. Stoic philosophy teaches that we should not carry resentment, but we also shouldn't offer intimacy to those who've proven careless with it. So you adjust the level of access, not the level of respect. You can still say hello. You can still be civil, but you no longer open doors to your inner world. Imagine running into them again. They ask how you've been. The old version would overshare, hoping they notice you're okay. The Stoic version answers simply, "I've been well." Nothing more. No details to dissect, no vulnerability to exploit. And here's the subtle psychological effect. They feel the shift. They sense that something has changed, but they can't accuse you of anything. You didn't punish them. You didn't confront them. You didn't disappear dramatically. You just moved to a higher floor. And from there, they no longer have access. This creates a quiet form of regret. Because now they realize they didn't lose you in a fight. They lost you through their own behavior. Here's a simple rule to practice polite distance. Respect without access. Be kind. Be brief. Be boundaried. No emotional explanations. No reopening old doors. Remember, you didn't cut them off to hurt them. You adjusted your distance to protect your peace, and when someone realizes they can no longer reach the version of you they once had access to, they don't feel anger first. They feel loss. 6. You don't seek closure. One of the most common traps after being hurt is the need for closure. You want them to explain. You want them to admit they were wrong. You want an apology that finally makes it make sense. But here's the Stoic truth most people resist. Closure is not something another person gives you. It's something you decide. When you seek closure from the person who hurt you, you're doing one dangerous thing. You're handing them the keys to your peace. Because now your healing depends on their awareness, their honesty, their willingness to take responsibility. And if they lack any of those, you stay stuck. Stoicism cuts this dependency cleanly. It teaches that peace comes from right judgment, not from other people's explanations. Think about it carefully. If someone was careless with your feelings, why would they suddenly become careful with your healing? Most closure conversations don't bring peace. They reopen wounds, they invite defensiveness, they end in disappointment, and worst of all, they keep the emotional door open. The Stoic response is quieter, but infinitely more powerful. You stop asking questions you already know the answer to. You stop waiting for words that may never come. You stop chasing an ending from someone who couldn't give you respect. And something profound happens. They notice, not because you confronted them, but because you withdrew the need. No follow-up message, no just one last conversation, no emotional epilogue, just finality. And finality without explanation is deeply unsettling to someone who expected to remain emotionally relevant. Here's a simple ritual to reclaim closure for yourself. Write the message you wish you could send. Everything. No filter. Then don't send it. Read it once. Acknowledge the truth. And close the chapter. privately. This isn't suppression, it's self-respect. Because when you no longer need their words to move forward, you've taken back the last piece of power they had over you. Remember this: the strongest closure is not understanding everything. It's accepting that some people lose access to you without a final explanation. And when they realize you moved on without needing anything from them. Regret doesn't come from guilt. It comes from irrelevance. 7. You become unbotherable. There's a stage beyond calm, beyond silence, beyond distance. It's called being unbotherable. This is where Stoicism fully takes root. At this point, you're no longer trying not to react. You simply don't. Not because you're numb, not because you're cold, but because your inner stability no longer depends on how others treat you. This is the moment people don't expect. They assume time will soften you. That nostalgia will pull you back. That emotion will reopen the door, but instead, they find someone grounded. You don't flinch at reminders. You don't get pulled into old dynamics. You don't feel the need to prove you've moved on. You have. Unbotherable doesn't mean nothing hurts anymore. It means pain no longer controls you. Stoicism teaches that freedom begins when external events lose the power to dictate your internal state. And once you reach this level, something irreversible happens. They can't get to you, and they know it. If they return, you're calm. If they disappear, you're calm. If they regret it, you don't need to know, because your peace no longer depends on their awareness. This is the deepest form of regret for someone who hurt you. Not that you suffered, but that you became unreachable. You didn't chase closure. You didn't demand accountability. You didn't fight to be understood. You mastered yourself. Here's the daily mantra that builds this state. I don't react. I respond with dignity, or not at all. Say it every morning. Live it every day. And slowly, you'll notice something powerful. You stop wondering if they regret hurting you, because it no longer matters. You've already won. Let's bring this together. You didn't get revenge. You didn't argue. You didn't explain. You changed how you moved. You stopped explaining yourself. You removed access without drama. You stayed calm when reactions were expected. You improved your life quietly. You chose polite distance. You stopped seeking closure. And finally, you became unbotherable. This isn't about hurting anyone back. It's about becoming so grounded, so disciplined, so self-directed, that no one can disturb your center again. Stoicism was never meant to make life easier. It was meant to make you stronger. If this resonated with you, comment below. I choose calm power. Like the video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe if you're building quiet strength every day. Remember this: your silence is not weakness. Your restraint is not loss. It's mastery, and mastery doesn't need an audience.